Hello and good morning once again. Welcome back. This is the news on NBS television on the 25th day of February 2013. Now we're seeking your reaction to a story in the Daily Monitor indicating that MPs, in their bid to catch up with the times, are going to be furnished with the iPad tablets, worth 1 billion shillings. 1 billion shillings to be spent on MPs' iPads. If I could read you the story, Parliament to spend 1 billion on MPs' iPads. Now, that's the headline. It's kind of mind-boggling, but let me read on. Parliament is to spend about 1 billion shillings on iPad tablet computers for MPs. Parliamentary officials say, apart from bringing MPs up to speed with evolution in technology, they hope to save money in the long run by cutting on printing and other stationery expenses. Open quote, they would be Parliament property, but when someone uses one for 5 years, you don't expect it to be in shape for use by another legislator for another 5 years. Commissioner Elijah Okupa told the Daily Monitor. They will indirectly become their personal property because of depreciation. Figures from Parliament show that the government spent at least 30 billion over the last 2 financial years on computer supplies, print, stationery, photocopying, binding, postage, courier, and other communication costs. They hope to save the money by moving to paperless operations in the House. For instance, any document from the Finance Ministry has to be copied into almost 400 copies for each MP and other Parliament officials. These will now be emailed to the MPs instead. It is a necessary tool of work, and we need them as MPs so to avoid the amount of paperwork which is always put in our pigeonholes. To Busiro East MP, Medad Segona. Many MPs are not familiar with the gadgets, sources said, and the firm that will be contracted to supply them is expected to receive a training contract as well. Your reactions. The numbers to call 0312265321
and 0312265322. Now on Facebook, it's Morning Breeze at 10 days. You've already posted, so we simply want your reactions on this.
Let's hear from you. What do you take of this? And besides, is this necessary? Remember, an MP earns not less than 20 shillings monthly.
And we look at how much an iPad costs.
As a package. And remember, recently, by the way, this is a question of integrity. MPs got 103 million shillings towards cars. But most of them procured cars that cost less than 1 million.
So should we have also gone as far as asking for an accountability?
We should.
This money was spent.
And two, are these MPs tech savvy? Because most of them look at some of the aging MPs.
Said Simon, should I assume that these MPs do not have iPads?
Even if they do, is this necessary? Is it a necessary cost? The argument that this is going to cut down on paper expenditure.
Yeah, printing and stuff.
Is this. But again, how often shall we see these MPs?
The iPads. That's one.
And
two,
3.
If they call it parliamentary property, I like the bit in the story where it says that, well, it's going, the depreciation is going to happen.
After 5 years?
After 5 years. We're looking at an MP in Parliament for 5 years. So are you going to use an iPad?
At this rate, aren't we likely to foot another bill for MP to be dressed? Yeah?
That's it. So should
wardrobe allowance.
Taxpayer really face all these expenses? It's something that we are looking at. Now, I like the bit where you also say that the company that is going to procure the iPad is also going to be the same company
winning another contract to train them.
On how, and again, this taxpayer is also supposed to pay for this to be trained on how to use
and
this
it
iPad.
also comes at a time when MP has put up a special center for babies.
For babies.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, yes, and time
daycare center for babies.
Yeah, an argument.
Another 80 million.
Another 80 million. The argument that is coming in saying that, well, we won't be having female MPs excuses that they remained home breastfeeding and stuff. Well, according to them.
Do they even?
Yeah, so let's look at an 80 million baby daycare center for female MPs.
And then the following day, 1 billion shillings spent on iPads.
At a time when reports were released showing MPs intentionally, voluntarily miss some plenary sessions.
What's your take on this? You can join us on Facebook.
That's more at 10 BSOTG. Numbers are 0312265321 and 0312265322. What's your reaction? Hello.
Messages are already flowing in. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Yes, tuweereza. Weekire fumwesi gensinzira nakawa.
Yes.
Ebisookera ddala ekyabaka Parliament okuba nti beetaaga iPad. Njaga batugane nti omuntu omubaka wa Parliament ekintu kye bamuwa asobola ensimbi zagula iPad. Kuba bw'olwayo bw'okinuulira nti bwe kiteteeka omubaka wa Parliament bw'oba ogenda mu Parliament oteekwa okuba nga oyamba. N'olwekyo zinandifudde nti bano baleme kujja ku nsimbi za muwa musobola wabula bateeka nti buli mwaka wa Parliament anayingiranga mu Parliament oteekwa okuba nga ogenya iPad. Nsuubira kijja kuba kikola naye olabye bw'ogamba nti waliwo nga tuli mu mbeera mbi kwate ku nsimbi z'omuwe w'omusolo nti ate ogule iPad ate omuntu gy'agenda okumala etaano agende nayo ate n'omyaka ate endala ate bagisirate ate gyagula iPad nze tuba tunona nsimbi ensonga zimogeddeko yaddekeya waliwo omulimu gw'emwako gwe bakkiriza okujja n'omwana lwaki baagala otumalamu essuubi nze naati omubaka wa Parliament ensimbi bamuwa nnyingi asobola okufuna omukozi ewaka alabira omwana sobola ogamba nti ate bayise ensimbi ate bateekewo kimanyi olabirira abaana dukkeya ekyo kintu kiba kikyamu nnyo ffe twabanga olwali abaka ba Parliament abaze mu nsimbi z'omuwe w'omusolo okubanga bazoonoona
beera bulungi siba bulungi. And remember, I think one of the best paid breed, yeah, looking at 21 million. That's a wholesome figure. Includes allowances, but also exclude trips. They take many trips.
That's the different parliamentary sittings.
Different parliamentary sittings, the sessions. For instance, PAC, each time PAC sits, I'm told, every MP earns an extra 50,000 shillings. So that's why they're so much into committees, because each committee meeting, yeah, makes you some money.
And you know, is the entire expenditure on the entire MPs, you know, reflected in what the MPs produce? Is reflected in the product,
in the output,
and in the output. And besides, Simon, it's this, you know, back to a scenario where you go to ask for a job, you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know the requirements, but you expect that job to really cater for whatever, for everything. You've got to ask for a job in an office. They'll buy you the suits, they'll buy you a computer and everything. That those requirements that you won't meet in your office, but that those look at you that you can always get to provide yourself with. And we are asking, with almost $1 million a monthly salary to the MPs, can they really provide themselves with this?
Yeah, and I think we ought to raise the bar at the same time, because I think we should have an MP who can afford, not these needy MPs. We don't need MPs. If an MP cannot afford to buy himself or herself an iPad, next thing will be airtime. Yeah, remember at one moment we had Constitutional Development Fund, which was hugely abused. And how we that these iPads are not likely to be abused? Yeah, look at a situation where a session is going on and an MP is busy chatting on Facebook or surfing
you know how
porn,
those iPads can be.
or surfing.
Be tempting, but at least if they can't even go on Facebook, the better. The question is really be put to use.
And how many MPs can be analytic enough? Because they've always gotten these documents. You see them walking around with documents, but few, if any, of them can have enough time to analyze, to critically.
Let's look at the documents themselves. Let's put a full stop on the documents. Yes, they've had the documents. Have we had products produced out of these documents? That's one. Now, as we get to look at products out of the documents, then we can always get to make a comparison and say that, hey, maybe we really need the iPads now to increase on the produce.
Your reaction? Hello, good morning. Sorry, you. Hello.
All right, 03122653321 and 03122653322. We are looking at a scenario where Parliament is to spend $1 billion on MPs' iPads.
Hello, good morning. Ani ono sewe?
Nemukyala Dorin nze kavuma asinziira mu kibuga ekikulu ekikulembera wa road mayor.
Yes, sebo.
Ddala mukulu njala nze nnyinza okwawukana ku ndowooza yammwe. Ekisooka iPods za bbeeyi naye kye tuteekeddwa okumanya omubaka wa Parliament afuna services ez'enjawulo. For example, Parliament ya South Africa oba eya wano Kenya baazibawa naye ekiziri wano ekifuula ssente ezo okuba nti iPods zigenda kuba mu kawu okusoba omuwendo gw'ababaka ba Parliament oguyitiridde twala ssente w'omusolo nale kye bakola oluusi tokiraba. Lwaki nkuwa ekyokulabirako nti otuuka kati katugeze nga mu Kampala mulimu omupi na bbiira tomuwulirangako ng'ateesa omusaafuna n'ensi naye kyentegeeza mukyo nti singa tuba n'omuwendo kuli quality ogw'ababaka abali quality basobola okuweebwa service naye ne tussaawo akakwappulizo nti ipods ezo za parliament si zaabwe ng'abantu gwe bw'ofuluma genda nga mu kulonda kutuuse ogireke mu parliament kyemaliriza nakyo byonna bidda ku nsonga egamba ti okuva parliament lwe yajungulu neebaga tekyali mugaso president omuwulira oluusi nga bakuba campaign agamba omupeereza ow'NRM wadde yeebaka katweyo teba parliament parliament eteekwa okufuna service naye ng'omuwebaka ba parliament tuyina abo abakola kye bakola awo otudde mukulu Tiala Dorin mwe muweerereza si mwe mujja ne buzindaalo bwe mukozesa ne mubusanga awo ne muweereza senga mwali bayitirivu nga studio ejjula yonna tewali badde mulamwa ensonga eyo ababaka bafune ipods naye nga mukyo eddwa okuteesa ne ku kyokugamba ti ababaka bakendere ku kino ekyabebigundi gye boogeddeko eyo nze sigiwagira nese okuwagira ensonga mutereeze health centers ku byalo amalwaliro ku eyo biliyoni gye baagala okuzimbisa gundi eyo bagambe nti buli mwaka kuzimba eddwaliro mu disitulikiti gundi ery'amaanyi abakyala bonna gye basobola okuira naawe omubaka gy'ova gy'oba ozaalira olw'okuba eddwaliro liri mukola okusinga okulowooza okubazimbirawo
baby center eno si ddwaliro naye abaana bwe banaabalereranga abaana baba omubaka ng'asobola okuvayo eri n'ajja n'ayonsa
batunulidde nino baby center Simon batunulidde omubaka bulijjo alina omwana omutebi kakati ekiseera kyeyandimaze ewaka ng'ayonsa bagamba nti yangu n'omwana wo muteekemu eno baby center eri kumpi ne parliament teesa
katufuneyo omukubi w'essimu omulala. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you today?
I'm very well. It's a country like Uganda, which has many, many bigger problems. To spend $1 billion shillings on iPads. Everybody is having a song now. And then they can afford to buy himself an iPad. Okay? Secondly, the cost that is being fronted. iPads are less than 1.5 million shillings. Okay? But you're going to spend $1 billion, 400 iPads. The mathematics is first of all. So there's already a scam to make a bit of money off that.
All right.
When you go to buy a laptop, just one more comment. When you go to buy an iPad in a shop, the company that sells it to you will show you how to use it. That's why we should spend more money to have people training MPs to use them. Ordinarily, when you go to buy an iPad in a shop, you'll be directed how to use it.
All right, thank you very much.
So in other words, they don't need to pay another trainer to come in and train them how to use the iPad.
Isn't it time we found someone, a watchdog, Parliament, parliamentary excessive expenditure, because time Parliament needs anything. They approve their budgets and they get it easy.
I don't know how you would call it excessive, because when you get to listen again to them, they have their own, you would call it excessive, but they are looking at
every other procurement. Every other is a procurement. Maybe. There is a budget that's approved.
Yeah, but we've been crying out loud. I mean, I've heard the public say that MPs do not want to be very productive. Maybe it's out of these iPads that we'll have more productive MPs. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're live on the morning breeze. Your name and where you're calling from?
Geoffrey.
Yes, Geoffrey.
When what you said and what you read in the paper, I'm really seeing the iPads as not assets of the parliament, because they are saying at the end of the 5 years, these people, iPads should have gone through 10 and 10. So people are going to own them. Then why not the MPs purchase the iPads in installment? We are going to own them at the end. And remember, we have these two spirits sharing in most of the institutions like universities. We want them in the hospitals. When the MPs embrace this idea of the cost sharing, they are also becoming a liability to us. We are tired of them.
All right, thank you very much.
A liability.
Yeah, because my worry is next it will be. Ani ono munafu?
Ono Maaka wakisoma shuulida. Nze ku nsonga ya iPad ku babaka ekyo kyakyo nnyo. kubanga palamenti emu gye twalonda ey'omwenda ate oba palamenti bavuga nti mulimu ababaka 7 be baatudde kati oli bw'avayo n'agamba twagala bagulira ipad tutukyakye ekyo kubanga bw'otunuulira amalwaliro teri ddagala abasomesa bakala musaala kati ate ogaye nti biliyoni ngenda gigulira ipad tebatuula mu palamenti ebyo tetukyewuunya.
Okay,
Alright,
thank you very much. Yeah, to him it's as usual.
Now he's not moved.
It's
He's
business
not
as
shaken.
usual.
At the end of the day, Simon, we are looking at taxpayers' money.
Yeah, but
So you be moved by such a move.
No,
You
what
need to
I
ask
find
yourself,
rattling-
how do I benefit
what
from
I find is that each time MPs need anything, they get it.
it to the
Yeah.
taxpayer?
You know, regardless of whether the taxpayer will bleed after this, because you know, the argument that he needs an iPad is valid, but an MP should own an iPad.
Themselves.
Yeah, it should
True.
be one of the.
Yeah, very true.
It's like there is a design dress code, defined dress code for parliamentarians, yeah, which should be adhered to. Similarly, there should be another requirement. Well, you must have an iPad.
You must have, yes,
to
Simon.
enable us send you mail,
Simon,
send you
it's very
for your
true,
reading.
but it depends on how you look at the iPad itself. I mean, if they are looking for, perhaps they never thought that they really needed an iPad. Maybe now it's really,
Isn't it so erratic?
it's dawning on them that now I really need it. But regardless, Simon, it's parliamentary property.
Yeah.
You
But you
can't
own 5 years.
Yeah.
And look at how indebted some of our MPs are. And they like to mortgage our iPads. Hello, good morning, caller.
Jalawe balikuweza se
Kale ssebo lyotya leero?
mugema nakanika wa kyoto ekibi
Oteesa otya?
ekisookera ddala iPad naye nga tezeetaaga kubagulira tulina ababaka nga kuva mwami Museveni ajja mu Muyinga mwe bali be babaka be baminisita kumbi bagala gavumenti kati abo bagulira otya iPad tulina n'ababaka nga bamala 6 n'ediguli bazimanyi nakozesa iPad kitegeeza obeera ddala iPad kuba basomesa ekyo kyenandibadde nsala mu bitundu ebyo tusaba nga busabye ba palamenti kukendeera omuwendo tusooke tufuuka entonotono
Okay.
ate zigulibwa ku bbo era kyenfulikira amba tebaba tebalina ssente babawerooni gavumenti zibawerooni sente bawenga.
Okay, thank you very much.
iPad.
An iPad on the market for about 1.3 million shillings. Tell MP cannot afford this. You know, I think it's depicting them in
Simon,
bad light.
It depends
Yeah.
on your priority.
No,
Simon,
we're looking at-
Amara is arguing that despite the MPs being parliamentarians, legislators, etc., there is a human element
Yeah,
to them.
but I mean, how will I perceive you?
But
if
Simon-
I'm getting to an extent of buying you an iPad, the
Simon,
next thing will be airtime.
Simon,
Yeah.
if I come here on set and we need an iPad
Yes.
to read out the messages, etc., my producer knows that I need an iPad to read out my viewers' messages. So if I come to Parliament and if it is an iPad that is going to
For
make
parliamentary work.
yes for parliamentary
For parliamentary work.
then Parliament has
But
to
you
provide the
facilitated
iPads.
to for Parliament. In the event that we didn't have iPads here, I
Simon,
would have bought
They
one.
are not using these iPads to do Facebook with their friends.
I know.
They
I know.
are using these
But
iPads to do parliamentary
Look-
work.
look at it.
They are parliamentary iPads.
no, look
They need these
at
iPads.
look at it in this vein. How will I, a taxpayer, who is already bleeding, because you got 103 million shillings, you get 20 something, then we capture you on camera napping away. Yeah. So you need an iPad, an excess baggage, when the constituency you represent doesn't have an ambulance.
Yeah, it's out of this iPad that we're able to
No,
discuss
no
and
way.
decide upon
No
certain
way.
issues
No, thank you.
that are going to see my
Wait,
constituency
we're taking viewers.
get an
Hello,
ambulance.
good morning.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, how are
Good
you?
morning.
That's my honorable. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Magakatonda mugulu togenanga mu parliament n'ofuuka mane business. Abo abasajja balaba kakodyo konna waawe tufunire kati tusiraanyeemu ne bagamba kati tuleetewo bino ebya iPad. Basobola kwefunira ssente ku ssente zaabwe ze babasasula omusaala ne bagula iPad. Bondi z'abanyazi bagulira mobile gundi simu z'abanyazi bagulira. ago gabbi galemeddwa okuteesa ku tukwatako abakazi n'ewuzi ezibatunga emulago tewali bakwogera ku nsonga ezo naye bakwagala kufuna ssente nakoowa nalukaga roy.
All right,
we're elevated and humbled by that title. But well, still taking more of your views. Good morning.
Simon Balam Caesar. Evening. Yamano Singing Yanama.
Yes, sir.
Ndio mukiganya n'abantu abagamba nti abaka balina okuba ne iPad naye nga teri bagulira togenda mukulumba iPad tezaalina ezo zonna tayinza kukkiriza mukulumba bakikumugulira adi kusente wa musolo eno wansi abantu bajjambizi mu ttooyi kiramu yalali amawulire ng'omusajja omukulu kira wansi mu kujjayo mbizi n'afiiramu gwe oyagala iPad ya bukande bubiri yabadde ajjayo embizi ya 3 ndo wansi mu ttooyi gwe sebo mwagala kubeerawo kusente ya wa musolo nga mweyagalire mubeere nga mu nsala gwe mufuna abagulira na iPad banatuka n'okubagulira empale.
All right, maybe something just cut my mind, Simon. Maybe these MPs need iPads. But the question is, looking at all the issues in the country right now, should Parliament
should we blow $1 billion shillings
on iPads?
And besides,
maybe that time
I've seen several of these MPs carrying iPads.
Yeah.
Isn't it a waste of taxpayers' money?
And the question would also be, are they really going to buy these iPads? Are they going to...
When shall we ever put a cap on parliamentary privileges? That an MP is entitled to this, an MP is entitled
to this.
So
I think my issue would be the timing, really, looking at all the pressing issues in the country right now, looking at where the country is.
We've just blown billions on cars.
Yeah, and Simon, besides,
and some of them bought salads.
We've also had the taxpayers' money again blown to refund whatever money was swindled in the OPM scam. You know, so as we try to recover out of our gain having...
I think it also has a reflection on our government expenditure. Yeah? There's always been this argument. Uganda's administrative expenditure is wild, very wild. It needs to be tamed.
And it again takes us back
I think this is a testimony.
And it again takes us back to setting priorities. Do we really have all the priorities set?
All right. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
I'm Simon and Doreen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, who is going to train these MPs? Because some of them don't know even how to use their phones. So, which means they don't even how to use iPads. Who is going to pay for the training? Can't they buy iPads for themselves? How are they?
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Also look at the benefits and perks these MPs receive.
I think we should also hold respect to these MPs, really. I mean...
No, they are disrespecting themselves. If they came out to support the idea that they should acquire iPads at the taxpayers' cost, yeah? It's honorable.
Yeah, but
that's unparliamentary. Because, you know, parliament should be service above self. Yeah? Service above self. Not exploitation.
So before you get to second, the receiving an goes, you know, for 1M, you need to ask yourself in your constituency how much 1M really get to cater for how many people.
Look at the benefits. They've got health coverage, travel, drivers. You know, there was an article in some time back about the welfare of drivers, MPs drivers. And their welfare is desperate.
Assistance.
You know, a driver, you said driver cruising a but earning 150,000 shillings a month. That includes lunch. Let's take another caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sorry,
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Salam.
Yes, please.
First of all, I think we should separate these things. The media has not helped people. That as parliamentarians, they need to be facilitated to do their work. I think what the media should do is emphasizing that on how to reduce the cost, we need to reduce the size of parliament. But parliament needs to be facilitated to do their work. As
you media personnel, you're facilitated to do your work. It isn't that they should get it from their salaries, because we shall be endorsing corruption when we say, if someone says Mbabazi has a lot of money. If Mbabazi has a lot of money, he doesn't use his resources to facilitate of a country. He should use his personal resources for his family and friends. But for state duties should be dedicated to avoid corruption.
All right.
I think we.
Thank you very much. He has a very crucial point. And maybe we would plead with MP patriotic enough, to say, well, we were supposed to 1 billion towards iPads. Let this money go to the health sector. Let this money be used.
Setting priorities.
Yes.
At some point, the iPads will come. Yes, it's very true. These MPs need the iPads, like he said, to facilitate their work. But the question: should we really be spending all this much money on iPads now?
Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning. Kalis. Yes, Sebo.
Akasinze sijja kwawukana nina mpesa naye n'emitooke nzulira nga sente zino tebabagulira iPad era zijja fida nga tetulina tezikoze kirala omusolo nyingi zisasulwa naye era ebikolebwamu tetuliraba so bwe tulaba ekyetaagisa okuba nga baba facilitated ne iPad bazibawe kubanga kyekirungi gye bali oba kina kiyambye kubaleme kulyata erizi kuba bintu bitategerekeka.
All right, Trans.
Yeah, but I think before we even give them, we should identify some of the blocks towards effective legislation. Because iPads cannot ensure effective legislation.
Yeah, but Simon,
yeah? Look at it this way. No, let me drive my point home.
Okay.
Let me drive my point home. Do you know, a big portion of our MPs do not debate at all. Do not even open their mouth to speak. You cannot see them yawning.
Right, yeah. Well, language has been...
One, language, they've got language barrier.
So the iPad's going to be...
the iPad's going to solve the problem. Two, some of them are tired, affected by age. Some of them are affected by age.
But they're voted into parliament. So why do the voters do not...
Some of them do not have parliamentary language. So that also hinges on orientation.
But
did they receive sufficient orientation?
Now, Simon, this makes the issue gross. I mean, I'm looking at the third bit of it. I mean, these are MPs. It's the electorate again. So should we take the entire problem back to the electorate?
No, it's past the
no, yeah, but because, Simon, as you get to look at this other person who's tired,
let's hear
what them into
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, how are you?
Nange Doreen munange mukazi munange aba parliament twakatigulira motoka aye mulago edwaliro eddene mu Uganda akazi bafiirayo ku dispensary ebitanda byanda panange tetulina ddagala mu ggwanga tugule ne iPad panange batusaasireko.
Okay, better Burunji. Several messages on Facebook, and we still encourage you to post your reaction to this move by Parliament to procure billions, rather iPads worth more than 1 billion shillings. Well, Brian, deserve it, it's worth it. However, have they thought of the youth programs and projects? Don't care attitude has wrecked our Parliament. That's why they changed our motto and my stomach. Joel Kasozi, instead of helping the needy, they just money on crap. Jos Nyakahuma, if the issue is communicating with the people they represent, any phone can. With internet, it's even difficult. Everyone can use it. You speak, still better. Why iPads? Hirwa Michael, they should use their salaries to buy themselves iPads. iPads will be misused by their family members, like kids Facebooking. It should be a requirement for a person to start as an MP to be having a computer knowledge, like using iPads instead of using taxpayers' money for training them.
I think being a parliamentary property, they wouldn't be taking them back home.
They will, because they need to download. Rather, instead of downloading, then they'll be reading
mails and stuff. Yeah, but now that's the issue to another level, Simon, because if it's parliamentary property, it's supposed to be used during
We are like kids doing homework
on iPads.
on iPads. We take another caller.
Yeah, but regardless, Simon, I believe that they do need the iPads. The question is, do we need to spend all that money on iPads now?
Is it necessary?
With our sick health sector. Hello.
Ne Simon mulamusiza tatajjona omwagizi wa Benadire zibiri kumi na mukaaga ndiwandegeya wano naye ku nsonga y'ababaka bafunira iPad tekyandibadde kibi kubanga tuli ku mulembe gwa don't call naye ebuuze ababaka bafuna obukadde abiri tebasobola ku iPad ezo ne babeera nazo kuba zaabwe twandibadde tugamba tugule ereza kuba bagenda nazo kubanga wano twewuunya nti bafuna emmotoka za bukadde 13 naye abamu tebazigula tuli omubaka wange no owakawempe south oli bamutumba tukaka bukadde 10 newadde nogulayo ambulance agiteeka ku division etuyambe eriyo kakati bano abalala bagamba ogulya iPad kalimu kuzo zikaddumu asobola ogikozesa tebannayiga zikozesa nyini basooka bagiriza zikozesa ate oluvannyuma naye kudibuda sete y'omuwomu.
Okay, so webale ddala. Yes. Bazibagazise abagala bazeegulire. Yeah.
Now, Karamaji Frederick says iPads for MPs, iPads for the tax should use the sitting allowances they get when they sign attendance books and disappear. Najib Mali says no. Let these boys and girls give us a break. They get 20 million monthly, which is enough for one to get his or her, himself or her an iPad. And they designed Kazindas in other form. Last time it was a cars. We buy them everything from toilet papers, and they can't even afford an iPad. Abbas Utaya says let them do. It's normal. They're used to money in things which can't help.
You remember a headline, not in the Observer, where they said Parliament to spend 700 million and tea.
I think they were initially. I think how much money is spent.
Yeah,
those,
but
we used to call it grab.
We need to check the spending spree in Parliament because apparently everything that everything that requires money in Parliament, you know, it attracts a lot of attention and lots of money.
Yeah, and Simon, when you talk about 7 million spent on mandats, maybe they should get expenditures.
Yeah, they ought to.
And get to see that they get themselves
travel. Even parliamentary travels should also be checked.
And now the opportunity cost of it should cut in, you know, in Parliament.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, Darren.
Good morning.
This is Anthony calling from Bogota.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what you ever discussing that's Twitter there. For me, one thing I've truly realized is that when you look at the Parliament, I think these people are really lacking what financial integrity. And when they're lacking financial integrity, they have no point to discuss what exactly is very important for this country. What they're trying to do is to make sure they come with all something that can really make you having this money taken by themselves at all times. And this is not really good for the country. This is one thing that is leading this country into a dilemma. And I think they should always have, take heart, make sure at least whatever they're going to do is for the benefit of this country. Time will always tell. And if they're going to be continued doing, even the young ones who are coming tomorrow will also come and do the same thing. This time, they're like doing things like elders and making sure they see that what they're doing is right for this country so that they can always take this country in the right angle. And, coming with things like iPads. When you look at the parliamentarians, most of them now are not even going to be using the iPads. They're just going to iPads and give them to their daughters, give them to their children, and towards the end, you won't even see Parliament. I'm just being honest, and I'm speaking as a citizen caring for this country. And what I'm seeing right now is that the parliamentarians are killing this country. Sometimes they say they could doing this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
and maybe it's some food for thought. Perhaps we should classify expenditure. The rate at which they are spending is quite alarming. That it might spark rage for the constituents.
There is this saying of your conscience will already, Simon, because I believe that the different MPs know the different constituencies they come from. I've been honored to visit different constituencies represented by various MPs in Parliament.
Some of which are rather appalling.
Yeah, and just when you get down, you really ask yourself and wonder what exactly is happening in this constituency. Now, as this receives an iPad that goes for 1M and plus, I need you to ask yourself, how does this iPad benefit people from my constituency?
Will it improve the quality of legislation?
How does
Shall we have better MPs? iPads.
And how does the electorate benefit out of this?
Or they'll just be flashing them all over the place.
So
because it's trendy. It's trendy. Find someone with an iPad. Yet most of them do not know how to use them. Remember the era of what are they called? These chips that store information. Flash disks. The era of flash disks. You would find a baba in a salon.
You're reminding. You were wearing
hanging
it, onto their necks and stuff. It's among
it's not anymore. So
yes, you get to
someone carries a which he cannot use. Ridiculous.
Simon is trendy. Ask Manager Live. He will.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
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 Yes, good morning. Kale mama ani ono?
Maureen from Mutundwe.
Maureen.
Mu butuufu abantu abo batulwaza omutwe. Toyinza kuŋŋamba nti babagulire iPads temulago batulanga mbizi naddala abazaala. Ku misaala gye bafuna mazima gennyini bagule iPads kubeera ne zetugenda obbagulya bagenda zisigaze.
Okay. Much. Earlier on I hinted on the integrity of IMPs. Chances could be that some of them could leave them in the pubs. Others could mortgage them.
Yeah, but I don't see why you would carry a iPad to your home.
Why not? If you need to do further, what do you do?
Oh, they'll even be carrying them to their constituencies.
Yeah.
After it's still parliamentary work.
It's still parliamentary.
Yeah, so I'm looking at how long these iPads are really going to last. It's still a question.
If we don't check this, if we don't nip it in the bud as early enough as possible, that would mean that tomorrow there will be another for MPs to have maybe another wife, to pay for houses, even their trips.
Yeah, and the question is of what benefit is procuring an iPad for an MP
All right.
to his or her electorate.
Hello, good morning. Hello. Kali nyabuli utali.
Kyembadde ngamba ng'abo ba MPs tebasaana kuteeseza ggwanga basse iPads bazaagaza ki.
Okay. Beera bulungi. Just till here, over this government is how? Who the hell is going to teach some of the non.com MPs how to use iPads? And what are the iPads going to be used for? For sure, this government sucks. If MPs absentee themselves, they will be sharing issues online. All they are being introduced on Facebook, Google, and Twitter. People are dying in hospitals. Cut time for iPads. Godfrey, they're now losing track on the money they are facilitated. They're sitting allowance, monthly commissions, and among others, can they buy themselves theirs?
Yes, I'm already imagining some MPs carrying iPads. Be an interesting bit.
Yeah.
And I like why, they've been very honest and they say that apart from bringing these MPs up to speed with the evolution of technology.
Yeah, but too late.
Too
late. By the time you enter Parliament, you should be a bit tech savvy.
Tech savvy. iPads, at least they've been on.
Somebody Medi, they are used to spending, therefore we don't give a damn. Henry Mutiaba, hey, this is but how many can use them effectively? If they can't use the computers, do they think iPads will be much easier? Aiden Mutebi, Ugandans find themselves stranded because of the poor public transport system. Yet the sharks are busy diving offers for more. Jeez. Musoke Dennis Rukaida, this is a modern day. It's long overdue. They actually need them. The question this morning, we're seeking your reaction.
And besides,
by Parliament to
and we're looking at
iPads
Uganda.
worth 1 billion.
We're looking at Uganda being among the first countries in the next 50 years. I mean, this is a move to see Uganda get to where it to be.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, this is Kienji from India. I'd like to contribute to the debate.
Go ahead.
Hello, this is Kienji from Jinja.
Live, good morning.
Nze MP baffe mubaleke babagulire iPad. Ebo betwala nga tusazeewo bulungi nnyo nti batukiikirire, but they are self-interested maximizers okwezimba bokka na bokka tuli kumpi kuwulira biiru nti tugenda kugulira engatto tubagulire nandaweya. This will not surprise anyone. Tubagulire iPads tubongereko n'ebirala byonna. After all tubagulira tuli kumpi bagulira masaati tuli kumpi kubawasiza abakazi oba bakutaano. Why do we care? This is what we wanted because we elected them when we want them.
We are reaping what we sow. Okay, thank you very much. And remember, MPs take a portion of the economy. They consumers.
Yeah, but they're serving the electorates. I mean, it's out of these MPs that are.
Remember, they also have retirement packages. After 5 years, if you're voted.
Yeah, Simon, I think that those things that we really should be very fair about. That those that will come with holding a certain position it's like.
But how parliamentary is the parliamentary expenditure?
It's like questioning advantages that come with being the head of state. That really have to be.
Good morning.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, Mulio Talero. Ani ono? Ebukoto. Otyo.
Naye mulaba omugaso gw'aba MP mwe abajeno. Omugaso gw'aba MP mugulaba. Ye bwe tubanga tulabagulira ya iPad. Do you see any delivery? Olaba ekyokuteesa ku oil kyabalema. Buli kiteeso kye baleeta kigwa butaka. Nze tulina ekitata aveeyo ewaffe e Masaka naye siraba mugaso MP. Actually bandisigadde nga 50 ba MP 3 naye simanyi wamulawo omugaso gwabwe. Siraba mugaso ne gavumenti eno okubeera nga tulina ba MP tulina losi. Twandibadde nga twongeza ku misaala gy'abasomesa, twongeza ku misaala gy'aba doctors, civil servants, agriculture, naye ba MP sibaki.
Okay.
Simon, I think when you got different arguments we've heard from the viewers, maybe they believe that maybe
they are not against iPads.
They're not the iPads, but they are against the fact that they're
getting them free. From the taxpayers' money.
From the taxpayers' money, on top of MPs maybe having not been as productive as they, as our electorate they would be.
And two, maybe we need to redirect the. Does your MP need an iPad?
Because it gets back to.
Does your IP? Does your MP deserve an iPad?
Yeah, because I mean we are going to gauge the need of iPads.
Ombaka wo yetaga iPad. iPad.
Because Simon Bobo tunuli the arguments, but tunuli the ombaka ankolela iPad moya. Tune wabadde akola maybe yetaga iPad. So it's about production.
Katuchigezeko ombaka wo yetaga iPad. Good morning. Morning.
Yeah, it's the next job, by the way.
Sorry?
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from Chengera.
Chengera.
Yeah.
That's Busiro East.
Yeah, Busiro East.
Does your MP deserve an iPad of taxpayers' money?
According to me, I think he deserves it. He deserves it. Not tax money parents, but his own money.
His own money?
Yeah, his own money. Because he's fucking rich.
Hello?
We'll go for it.
He's rich. Yes, he's money.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
so he deserves it, but then he has money to serve you.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
Let's go for another. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Bajen Ivan calling from Mukono.
From Mukono?
From Mukono.
Yes, Simon, this is a routing error. Everybody is routing in one direction. It's like when these tippers carrying fuel lands on the road, everybody rushes with a jerrycan to take his fuel. So this is a routing error. You haven't heard that they are going to start a kindergarten,
daycare center
for their children. So where Uganda is going, we need the.
All right.
All right.
It reminds me of.
Everybody is stealing Everybody is rushing to steal the taxpayers. We need prayer.
It's animal farm
It
politics
reminds
now.
me of one of the plays, I think, band where they had the national the Vegan map, cut across, and they're like, it's a cake, it's a national cake, and everyone had to take a piece of the entire map.
By the way, remember when people talk about the daycare center, MPs have a fully furnished gym, jacuzzi, all these amenities. It's common practice. I know. The argument would be if it's in other countries, why not?
Simon, if they have the jacuzzi, the gym, name it, and they have to call 10 minutes to go attend some plenary sessions in Parliament, they won't even go while they remain around the chambers of Parliament. So what happens with an iPad?
Bar.
You know how Facebook
there's a restaurant.
Now, if they've been taking 10 minutes to get this Parliament, the MPs
they are going
Parliament,
to be hooked.
They're going to take because they're going to be hooked on Facebook. I mean.
All right, we go for the caller. Does your MP deserve an iPad of taxpayers' money?
This.
Morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, morning.
Good morning, Doreen.
Yes, my dear. Your name and where are you from?
I'm Doreen from Costa.
Yes.
Who is your MP?
Ye banange Simon. Wanafika kumulembe kwa .com. Naye ndaba nga tukyali wasi nnyo. Tukyala tegulira after. Naye for this. Basoke batusasireko, banange basoke batereze eggwanga. Bagalabire okulamu bw'abantu.
Okay, webale nnyo.
Yes,
what can 1 billion do?
Oh, let's look at him. This 1 billion can do wonders in Lago here, Simon. This one can get to furnish some of the potholes.
Let's look at teacher salaries. A teacher who earns 250,000 salary. Do you know how many teachers can be paid from 1 billion?
20.
400 teachers.
Oh,
No. 4,000 teachers.
All earning from the 1 billion. And Simon, like
4,000? 40,000 teachers. Yeah? Can be paid using this 1 billion shillings. Yeah. 40,000 teachers.
Yeah, and
so that closes up.
And like Doreen said, that maybe it's the .com. Instead, we don't need these iPads. It's .com. But do we have .com? Do we have .com hospitals?
Do we have .com MPs?
.com MPs?
All right. Hello, good morning, caller.
Hello.
Doreen, viva caller.
Kale, seba maya nejo. Yes, sebo.
Lebo tatenga bakudde ku mulimu gw'okugabula. Olaba ebigwayo nawe osooka n'otuula n'olya. Kuba tukyalinayo sibiri balirowooza tunamala okugabula naffe tunaafuna bye tulya. Bikiri mu Parliament. Madaga gagenda, politiki gazigenda. Omusajja yaawo omukisa gwe twaba bagukozese buli bakisabe bakibawe.
Okay.
All right. Someone says here that will be procuring flat screens for the piece. Now, Kamaga Hassan says, thank you very much for that show. Let me tell you, some of the hospitals do not have drugs and doctors do not get enough money. They should buy their iPads on their using their own money. They should be with it, but not on government money. Okay, here Juma says they should buy to save us from unnecessary noise in Parliament. My worry is that's a lot of money to be spent on iPads. There is going to be more spending on teaching MPs on how to use them because most of them are okay. Yes, Kagaba says that is indeed no sense. I've not seen not even one Parliament that people are using presentation to give their speeches. Now what are the iPads? Some MPs cannot even use a mouse of these ordinary computers. How about iPads? Please stop wasting taxpayers' money. We need funding as youths in our programs to help the communities, and you are simply wasting it.
And I think we also consider taking back our MPs to maybe some retreat of sorts, so that they undergo fresh orientation. MPs should know why they.
That takes me back to that issue we talked about. I think it was with Mr. Frank Gashim. I think the country should not be facing certain costs on certain things that I feel that are really, really unnecessary for them.
No, we take these MPs and then take them through their roles.
Yeah, but raising the from a lot of things, from having them trained on using iPads, having disorientation. I mean,
buying them cars. As if they're
yeah. You get someone who already
we take another caller.
Things.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling Kizito.
Yes.
Kizito
from Chireka.
Does your
Chireka,
MP,
that is Chadondo.
Does your MP need an iPad?
Yeah. It's an iPad.
Okay.
From taxpayers' money?
Yes, but the issue is that Olaba. Yes, it is okay. Now, ekikulu kiri bwekiti bwekutwala mu parliament emba baffe bazze bakola ebintu kato osanga bonna abandi badde nti bakola constituency zaabwe bali mu Kampala mwe basula mwe bazimbye mwe badeveloping okusinga constituency zaabwe so iPad balade bakozesa ibwe iPad kubanga already bali bonna bali mu Kampala wa
So maybe we should give them iPads basing on their performance.
Yeah, performance.
Performance.
Yeah, because
performance and attendance.
Yeah.
But MPs ababaddewo bulungi omwaka going by their performance and representation.
To get
tubawe ataano
to get them constituencies
as a token.
To get them constituencies abwe tugambenti wagenda watagenda okukiikirira busiro nebwe tetwalina luguudo. We never had any tarmac road. Omazemu omwaka
Now we come there.
Yeah.
You know, an MP is not meant to road.
I know, but you're supposed to legislate and ensure that your constituency you lobby to ensure that your constituency gets a tarmac road. See again the quarter. So we're going to look at this. Together government in Kayunga never had a hospital. You lobbied. So let's look at what you've done for your constituents. Let's look at the production. iPad.
Abalonzi lwaki temwesonda ne mugulira ababaka iPad.
That's emirimu gye bagenda okukola.
Kabeere ng'akasiimo.
Kubanga yasira emirimu gye bagenda okukola. N'abaggogo omulonzi.
Okiraba?
Lwaki atakozesa ssente z'okuya.
On top of your muyise akabbo. But I think it depicts these MPs as needy people.
Talk of these iPads, it reminds me of a hospital. I think it was in Jinja, where a lady had a wailing sick child, very sick child, and she could not get an ambulance to take the sick child from her home to the hospital. Why? This ambulance had broken down past 2 years. Past 2 years, and this person does not have an ambulance. And we're now looking at 1 billion going to be spent on iPads. I think we do have issues in this country, very much.
But let's take it back to our guys out there. Does your MP deserve an iPad of taxpayers' money? Good morning.
Hello. Kale sebo.
Kunjala nkwamisizza.
Nange munaye.
Ngemanya gange.
Yes sebo.
Ajja kitanje kyagula mukadde obutaano. Palamizaano mu kisenyi. Naye bwana njala nze kimaze okulaba nti buli palamenti ayingira mu palamenti abasinga bagenda n'amabanja. Abantu abo mukama wange bali ennyo ssente zaffe ez'omuwi w'omusolo. Nga bamaze okunywa caayi aye ne bagenda ne palamenti ne banywayo caayi. Caayi w'omu palamenti afe tumusasula. Kakati n'ogenda okaa nti ekitundu kya Uganda essente ze kirina MPs abasente zitwala. Waliwo ngamba ntya bannansi ko tugenda okukola enyera eggwanga lino. Bammemba palamenti tebatuliiko era omulimu tulabe nga tununula eggwanga lino tugamba tugimanyeyo balikuweereza.
Okay, webale. Bank says no wonder the president calls them idiots. Now, like Mr. My MP who drinks water from local bars and fine, who is supposed to use his position to set trends, and now an iPad, will he keep grievance or to keep saying? In fact, most of them will be Facebooking Parliament. Sentence my MP Chidu no is a lost to Luero. Yes, kati n'owulira nti we are going to buy iPads for MPs. Bana ekiki ekiri mu but those MPs are in Parliament bateeseza abantu. They are not fit to be the 1 billion. Go to hell. John Arnold, this should be good from their pockets. They can afford.
Well, I think we had better brace ourselves for more friend requests.
From MPs.
From MPs.
Well, that's all we had for you this morning in the topic. Coming up next
is Newsweek with Sharon Ikembabas, as you get and also get to find out what exactly featured in last week's Newsweek items.
Good morning.